We are back again on Optimal Play to talk about the dying breed of living card games. In particular, this time Arkham Horror, the card game. I'm Brandon.
I'm Steven.
And yeah, another thing that happened since we last sat down to record is the Legend of the Five Rings LCG announced its end. I think Arkham is now half of the LCGs.
Yeah. Has Lord of the Rings officially ended? I can't remember.
Yeah, yes, it is. They have said, and it was so vague and so theoretically far in the future that nothing may ever come of it. They said that they have intentions to do more with Lord of the Rings as a card game, whether it would be a second edition.
Once the fourth Lord of the Rings book comes out, that's when they're gonna release more cards.
Yes, that must that must be what they're waiting for. So
that's what they did with Game of Thrones. They were like, we're holding off until the next book comes out.
Did they really?
They did, yeah.
They really said Game of Thrones LCG is not done. It's just we're waiting for more material. No way.
They seriously said that.
I did not know that.
No one took them seriously. But it was officially their cover story.
Interesting.
So they wanted you to blame George R. R. Martin for being slow rather than that.
Well, then, luckily there's still a few more Lovecraft books for Arkham Horror to cover, right? Before it runs out of material.
But yeah, L5R, I think, didn't really surprise anyone. I mean, clearly FFG has given up on the competitive LCG model.
Yeah.
The only thing that's a little bit worrying, obviously you feel bad for my L5R playing friends, but the one thing aside from them that's like a little weird is that FFG has not like announced like where they're pivoting their attention.
Yeah.
Like it's clear what they're not doing, which is like they're not doing competitive LCGs.
And now they're not doing miniatures games that got moved to a different company.
They're not doing miniatures games. I don't even think, like, do they even do X-Wing anymore? Like, I heard something about, like, some other company taking Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I think that X-Wing went along with the, like, what I'm referring to where miniatures games went to another Asmodee subsidiary, like Atomic Mass, something like that. Yeah, I was just looking at the upcoming products page on FFG's website, and it's real light. Like, Arkham and Marvel seem to be going strong, and there's Descent 3rd edition, and really like no other board games announced, I think, and just the two LCG. They don't seem to be up to very much. It worries me a little bit. Yeah,
it may be COVID delays. It's also worth pointing out that like Wizards of the Coast like used to make like 50 card games, and then after a while they were like, we'll just make Magic. And like they didn't, that wasn't a sign that they were failing as a company. They were just like, yes,
just we put our resources
games,
where
like one of them makes all the money.
Yeah.
So like Arkham and Marvel are clearly much more successful than their other card games. So like it's not necessarily a sign that like Arkham and Marvel fans should be worried. Oh, and I totally forgot Keyforge exists. I suspect FFG will also forget it exists.
Yeah, I actually like Keyforge, but I don't. It's hard to tell whether Keyforge is like a success for them because it is such a good like kitchen table game to like just buy 4 decks and just play it with your kids or your spouse or whatever, that it's kind of invisible. I wonder if maybe it's like secretly selling very well. I hope that's the case. Yeah, you're right. It is easily forgotten.
Yeah. And Keyforge, I feel like actually suffers the most from COVID because like Keyforge was like the thing that if you were at a game store and you had an hour to kill, you're like, oh, I'll just put down $10 and I'll play a game of Keyforge with my buddy.
Right.
But like now that you're not at a game store, like if it's more of like a planned purchase, I would probably buy like a board game or something.
Yeah.
It was a great impulse purchase.
Agreed. Yeah. At the Fantasy Flight Center, I was there for Arkham Knights, what feels like a lifetime ago, pre-COVID. They had a Keyforge vending machine. Right? Where there were like a couple of the expansions had their decks in there. You'd put in your money and key in the row you wanted, and like that perfectly summed up what's great about the game is that for a few bucks you get all you need to play it, and it's a great impulse buy. And yeah, no, people aren't really impulse buying as much as they did. I don't think. I don't know. There's still the impulse buy to like fill up the cart to the free shipping level, like on a game website. So there's still that.
But yeah, so it's not like necessarily a problem that like FFG is just focusing on Marvel and Arkham, but like I feel like they should at least like make a statement or like reassure people like, hey, like I know that we've pared down, but like this is what our vision of the company is. It's about co-op LCGs and like still some board games, but not that much.
Yeah.
Like just tell us like what is the new focus of the company?
Yeah, so Keyforge, I think, is their only non-cooperative product now, right? Like they actually did put out the Marvel X-Men kind of almost a retheme to Elder Sign, like very similar to Elder Sign. And then Descent is going to be fully cooperative, the new edition, and the co-op LCGs. I almost wonder, should they rebrand themselves as like cooperative games are our bread and butter? You know, come to us for those great co-op experiences.
That would make like
that's what they're doing.
If you're gonna kill or spin off so much of what you do, there should be some explanation for like, okay, like we've realized like this is what our specialty should be.
Right.
So
yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Also, we sat down. You can watch our horror and high gear video to hear us complain about not having access to the packs that weren't readily available in our area. But we're sitting down back to back with the previous pack here, so we probably won't have our usual like what cards have you played with from horror and high gear moment. So I ambushed you with a slightly different conversation topic.
Yeah.
That said, we're looking at the player cards from the Light in the Fog pack from the still going strong, as far as we can tell, living card game for Arkham Horror. But alarmingly, it seems to start with a misprint.
What?
Yeah,
I have the same issue. Looks like Holy Rosaries, like
yeah, they're really letting themselves go. So this is a level 2 version of the classic core set Mystic asset, Holy Rosary, that appears to be printed in blue with the Guardian logo on it. It's still an item, a charm, and bless that costs 2 resources. Actually, maybe it didn't used to be blessed. I'm not sure. Still grants a willpower, but now says, after you succeed at a willpower test on a treachery, exhaust a rosary to add 2 blessed tokens to the chaos bag. Cool.
That
seems great.
Kind of like a guardian card. Like
it does.
One with blessings.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, jokes aside, I don't actually think this is a misprint. I think that this is something that I've been kind of hoping the game should do ever since they did those multi-class cards with deviating upgrades, which I was not a fan of. I actually loved the idea of taking twists on existing cards in a different class and seeing, kind of reflecting the differences between the classes that way. And I think this is cool.
Yeah, it's probably not like a super high priority upgrade for some, just because at least with Sister Mary, I often find like it's not a problem to get to 10 blessings, and there's lots of actually wasted blessings.
That's true, although she does love the willpower boost, which I mean she gets from the level 0 version. Yeah,
so it's like it wouldn't be like a high priority upgrade for. It does, I think, work in Mateo, and you know he doesn't have the default bless increase, so like maybe a little more enticing in him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So the only, other than I think maybe there's an agility icon on here for some reason, the only difference is this 2 blesses when you pass a willpower test on a treachery. So it's extra blesses, but at an uncontrollable time. So it's kind of just a little bit of extra bless income. I guess I see what you're saying. Like it's not as an upgrade from the previous one, not that interesting or not that high a priority, but it does become available to a whole swath of characters that couldn't take the original. Right?
And
like
also the fact that you don't control it, Guardians do have access to let me handle this, so you could actually try to force yourself to get all the will treacheries.
Good point. Yeah.
Also, remember like things like Circle Undone, all those will treacheries that stay on characters. I think this works with all of those. Like all those will treacheries.
Yes,
like you could trigger this every single turn in most Circle Undone scenarios.
Yeah, and I mean all the way back to the core set, Frozen in Fear has a end of your turn willpower test, right? So
but I'm thinking of ones where you can take other people's will tests.
Oh, I see.
Like,
since you have this, you can be the one to do that.
3 or 4 player Circle Undone, there's going to be a witch test that you can test every single turn. Like,
you're right.
You are not going to have trouble getting 2 blessings a turn from this.
Yeah. And I'm like, Guardians, their previous option, at least for willpower boosts in the accessory slot, was police badge. So this is a new option that fills a very different purpose that can get them that willpower boost if there's someone like Carolyn. Or, well, I guess Carolyn could also run.
The ones that care about will all have mystic access. So like,
I guess that's true.
It is.
Yeah, you're kind of right. I guess I hope that we get more of the like off-class twists to existing cards. You're right that this one it's a little hard to see the use case all that strongly.
I could definitely see it in Mateo.
Agreed.
Next up, we got Shield of Faith, also a 2-cost 2 XP Guardian asset, also blessed and a spell. It seals up to 5 blessings, and then when it's out of blessings, discard it. Reaction: when an enemy attacks an investigator at your location, exhaust Shield of Faith and release a chaos token sealed here. Cancel that attack, and it's an arcane slot.
Wow, that's a powerful effect. Cancel 5 attacks, right?
Yeah.
But it's 1 per turn. And so I do think that Rite of Sanctification, the Guardian spell that seals blessings and provides discounts when people play cards at their location, it's a very powerful card. What I was surprised by as I've actually played with that is how painful the sealing blesses actually is. Because sometimes you want a Radiant Smite, and there's only 1 bless in the bag because 4 of them are sealed on Rite of Sanctification. Or you're just you're like, come on, I thought the whole thing here was that we were going to draw all these blessings. Someone's running Blessing of Isis, whatever it is. It's actually a pretty steep price, and so this carries that same price.
Yeah, and even though theoretically it's like, oh, I'm saving them for later, if they were in the bag, you would have drawn them, used them, and then created more blessings through things like Sister Mary or this Holy Rosary we just read. So like in reality, I find that often you're not drawing blessings, but you're like capped out at 10 because like half of them are on Rite of Sanctification.
Yeah, agreed. That's true. It makes it more likely when you have those sealed blesses. It makes you more likely that you just cap out and start wasting abilities that would add blesses to the bag. So I have no idea where I land on this. is the conclusion here. I think I don't like it. I think for the we just talked about the costs to it, and then canceling attacks is kind of a niche situation, right? Like if you seal a bunch of blesses on here and wish they were back in the bag, this doesn't offer you a necessarily a very easy way to just get them back in as quickly as possible, because you're probably also trying to kill the enemies so that they aren't launching that many attacks. And yeah, it's just not as easy to use its benefit as Rite of Sanctification is.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is I have not played a lot of bless mechanics with just 1 or 2 players. Caps might not be quite as big of an issue there, and I could see it being useful if you like facing a boss or you draw 2 enemies because of overzealous or something like that.
Yeah.
To just be able to like fight 3 times and like not worry about the fact that like there might still be some enemies at the end of your turn.
It's a good point. For a lower player count, one or 2 players, this does seem pretty strong, potentially strong. And Diana can run it, and when she uses the last charge or just wants to get rid of it and put the bless tokens back, she can tuck it under.
True. Yeah.
Tuck it under her investigator card, right? That's something.
But yeah, I think it's probably best in just typical fighters that like maybe don't always kill everything on their turn. So could play it. You could also play just like Guard Dog or something like that. Probably works just as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool option to have. I'm not over the moon about it. Wow. Fae is a cool name for a card.
Is that like a fairy?
I think that's usually like F-A-E. F-E-Y Fae. It reminds me of Fel, which is a word that like the Warcraft IP uses for like demonic stuff. I think
I'm right though. There's a Shakespeare quote about Midsummer's Night Dream, so I think it is like fairy related.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Though those that hobgoblin call you, and sweet puck, you do their work, and they shall have good luck. Geez, you think Lovecraft quotes on these cards are hard to read? Okay, I'm with you then. Um, cool. Well, great card, or great card name, great art. I like it so far. I like its icons too. This is a skill card it's level 1 and has a willpower and 2 wilds icon. It's innate and cursed, and says if a curse token is revealed during the skill test, you may return Fate to your hand when this test ends.
Oh, snap. That's really cool.
Seems good. Yeah, I mean, naturally, Amanda really likes Promise of Power, right? Because, yes, it puts a bunch of curses into the bag, but she gets 4 wild icons for all of her actions for a round. This pairs well with that, because then she can get these icons every action for a round too, and if she draws that curse, actually, how does this work when it's tucked under Amanda? I don't know, actually.
I guess I'm not 100% certain this. I would think that you have the option to return it from under her investigator to your hand.
I would think so too. Yeah.
If it was your first or second test of the turn, you might not.
It makes an interesting decision.
Third, you definitely would. Like second is like kind of, borderline.
Yeah, it makes a very interesting decision possibly there.
There's also a lot of Mystic Seekers like Luke and Mary. I don't think can play level 1 Seeker.
Yeah.
But there's Luke. There's who else? Daisy can play this and Mystic cards. There's some characters that could use this on Mystic spells.
Sure.
That well, especially if those Mystic spells are like Armageddon, where you're doubly wanting to get curses.
Right. It's interesting. So we're seeing more and more of the Seeker payoff for curses where they want to draw them. It is only ever, like, so far, I think they want to draw them. They're not usually rewarded for other players drawing them.
You can, hold on. You can play this on other people's tests.
Oh.
Turn it to your hand.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, that's an upside for multiplayer. I was going to say I'm kind of waiting for that Seeker card that lets you like draw 5 tokens, and if a curse is among them, keep that one. Or, something that helps you intentionally find curses on your tests.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what that would look like, but it would make these cards that reward you for drawing curses that much stronger, especially when the risk of something like the what's the Grimoire? Cryptic Grimoire. The risk of the Cryptic Grimoire is that you put all these curses in the bag and the other players draw them all and don't leave any for you.
What jerks. I hate it when people draw my curses.
So something to help you find the curses on your own tests. I'm curious whether the Seeker will get something before the cycle's done to that effect.
Yeah. This could also help Trish draw Trish or Finn. Maybe they would pass a will test with this. And they could add curses with Faustian Bargain. So, Stride.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We hadn't talked about Trish yet, but she's the rogue Seeker of the cycle, so she tends to have a lot of curses in the bag if she's running her strong cards that pay off with those. I mean, she can run every card that like puts curses in the bag for some benefit, right? I think she can run them all.
I think so.
Because they're all like low-level rogue and Seeker, so...
Yeah.
If you're going that route with Trish, I think this is a great card.
And she definitely needs 3 icons to pass a will test. So.
Yes, yeah, she sure does. She might not still pass it if she draws a curse, which returns this to her hand, but then she fails the test. But oh well. I guess.
At least if it's like a Rotting Remains, you won't fail it by as bad.
Yeah, you're kind of hedging your bets. That way, you're kind of happy either way. You either pass because of Fae, or you return Fae to your hand.
Yeah, and she could also be playing the Seeker Covenant.
True. To cancel those, yeah, or Seeker Covenant rather to count them as plus ones. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the Rogue one would not trigger this if you can.
Yeah, that's the most annoying thing about the Rogue Covenant to me is how it fails to combo with all these other effects.
Yeah. Well, next up is Guided by the Unseen, 2-cost, 3 XP asset. It's a ritual. It uses 4 secrets. As a fast action, during a skill test at your location, the performing investigator may search the top 3 cards of their deck for a card that can be committed to this test. You may spend 1 secret to commit that card. Shuffle the performing investigator's deck. That's really interesting.
Whoa. So level 3, there's a lot of things competing for your Seeker XP. They have a lot of good cards, but being able to search the top 3 cards and only spend a secret if you find one you like.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so
Yeah.
whiffing is not that bad.
Whiffing, yeah, I mean, it means you didn't get to improve your, it didn't mean, or didn't get to get the free card into that particular test, but it does not cost you one of the secrets from this card.
This actually doesn't exhaust, so can't you just do this over and over until they find a skill?
Oh. That feels like an oversight to me.
That might be an oversight.
If you whiff, you just do it again? And wait. Yeah, or you can, it doesn't have to whiff, you could just choose not to. This functionally lets you search your deck for a card, doesn't it? That might get errated or tabooed. Because you can just decline to choose one as many times as you want until you find that quick thinking or whatever specific skill they really wanted. Huh. It's a good card. Secret cards tend to be.
But yeah, like let's say that this exhausted or something.
Yeah, I think that must be the intent, is that it's once per test at least.
It's definitely cool. There's definitely some seekers like Mandy and Amanda that play a good amount of skill cards.
Yeah, so assuming it is kind of what we think the intent is, like how good is searching the top 3 cards of your deck for kind of a blind skill card to put in? Like, yes, you can deck build around it, but you're still not guaranteed to find the thing that matches the test or is good for the moment. Mm-hmm. Maybe barring the brokenness of the card, it's actually not that great.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just spend 2 to draw 4 cards, it's probably worse than
Scroll Secrets?
No, I was thinking of the old school, like a long time ago, there was a 4 XP secret card that like draws you 3 or 4 cards fast.
Is that like shoot, I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, like it's at 2 cost 3 XP, it's like just for the draw, it's not really better than that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of ultimately what this is, right? It's 4 free card draws. It's just card draws.
It is nice, though. It is nice that you kind of are getting it at the time you need it, so it's not clogging up your hand.
And it's nice that you can distribute them to other players. Like, not many card draw cards can do that. But I think Scroll of Secrets level 0 that now lets you look at the bottom card of a deck and potentially put that in someone's hand 3 times fast speed. Like, I think that's better.
That card's really good.
It is.
You probably keep that in most of your decks. I mean, it's also like the Seekers do sometimes need their hand slots for other things. They don't generally need their arcane slot. So I think you still probably play 1 or 2 of those, and you could consider playing this one.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would be fun to, like, if you're playing along with a Silas or something, to have this kind of combo and kind of help that player do their thing or something. It doesn't strike me as a particularly strong card, but it is a fun card. It makes for fun moments, right?
Yeah,
where you can see whether you get that sweet skill card you can throw in and save the test or get its effect.
Another thing that I like about this with Amanda is if you find her weakness, you can just throw it in a test for -1 icon, and like you're done with it. Not too bad.
Yeah.
You really don't want to draw her weakness at a time when you have to put it under her. Like,
right.
If you draw it in the beginning of the investigation phase, that's real bad.
Yeah, this might go in Amanda just for that weakness mitigation. That's a good call out. Okay. Moving on to rogues. They have a quote unquote lucky penny, an omen of misfortune. It's giving me Charon Zobel vibes already, just by being this golden coin that is.
But for some reason, it's not a relic, so Ursula can't take this. I think that seems kind of bullshit.
Sad, yeah. Everything else about this screams relic. Boo. Okay, well, it is a 2-cost level 2 rogue asset, but it's exceptional, so it's 4 experience and limit 1 per deck. It's an accessory slot item and says forced. Wow, forced is rare on player cards. Okay, forced. When you reveal a bless or curse token during a skill test you are performing, flip a coin. On heads, treat that token as a blessed token. On tails, treat that token as a cursed token. If you treat a blessed token as a cursed token as a result of this effect, draw one card.
It's hilarious.
This is wild.
I love that they just introduce like now you need a coin. And
yeah, this is the first time like Magic the Gathering has flip a coin effects once in a blue moon. This is the first time Arkham has, right? Or even the first time an LCG has that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, if you don't have a coin on, there's like a million ways to like randomize this. You can like grab a health token and a horror token and like hold one in each hand and be like, Brandon, like which hand is it? You know.
I mean, even better would be a curse and bless token if they're not all in the bag,
True.
right?
Yeah. So it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a very funny card. Despite the text that says if you treat a bless as a curse, draw a card, I think you would mostly, if you were to play this, and I'm not saying you should, you would play this if you're mostly putting curses into the bag, and then half the time they end up helping instead of hurting you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, if you played like a straight up rogue, all I do is add curses, because that's what most of their cards do. I guess they have Priest of Two-Face that have to play blesses, but let's assume that you're mostly playing rogue cards that add curses. If this read, half the time you draw a curse, it's +2 instead of -2. If you draw enough curses,
it's interesting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a funny card. It's fun. I think it's kind of a meme. Like,
yeah,
it's ultimately what this is.
I don't understand why this had to be exceptional. Like that.
Right.
Seems like a totally unnecessary.
I know. Yeah, because so exceptional on a low level card says like, well, this way more investigators can splash it, right? Because it keeps it technically level 2, even though it costs 4 XP. But did this effect need to cost 4 XP?
It really doesn't.
I don't think so.
Unless there's some broken interaction that we're just not thinking of. Like,
yeah,
I really don't understand why this couldn't be 2 XP.
I'm almost surprised this isn't permanent. Like, just rather than taking up if this didn't take up your accessory slot, because rogues have other things they like to do with that slot.
Like this is more XP than the upgraded Lucky Cigarette case that lets you tutor your deck,
which is a way better card. Yeah. If this was just permanent and just you could just opt into playing this silly game of chance with all the blesses and curses, like I think you would be more likely to actually use this. It would still like be kind of a waste of XP. I don't know. I think it's fine for fun cards to exist. I'm not mad at this. I don't think it's something a power gamer like me is actually no. Because I'm not a power gamer, I am actually very likely to try this out sometime. But I think it's just for laughs.
Okay, let's see. With the Guardian Covenant, do you return so let's say that you're reversing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you return the tokens that ended up being blesses or started as blesses to the bag? With the
oh man, Covenant? When you reveal it, yeah, no, you've treated it. Oh, weird. Okay, so like, if you treat a curse as a bless, can the Guardian Covenant now return it to the bag? Is what you're asking?
I think is this some way that you add 10 curses to the bag? You turn half of them into blessings, you return the blessings to the bag.
Like, I usually like to assume that card interactions like that work. I know that sometimes I'm wrong, and I'm usually disappointed when I'm wrong, and I feel like that's a design misstep when stuff like that doesn't work. So I would like to think that works. That kind of hijinks. I still don't really know that the juice is ever going to be worth the squeeze.
Yeah, I mean, that's 6 XP, but like theoretically, Skids or Leo Anderson.
If you run this and the Seeker Covenant, Blasphemous Covenant, the one that treats curses that gives you a +1 modifier on curses, then all of a sudden your blesses are either +2 or they become +1s. Then they're just. But that's not as good as just resolving the blesses as blesses. Yeah. Damn it! No, I didn't find a hack.
You do get draws.
You treated a +1 and draw a card. True.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking the Guardian one could be fun for like you draw a bunch of curses, and like some of them become blessings, and then they go back to the bag as blessings. And now you have
no,
blessings in the
that doesn't
bag.
work. That doesn't work. If that's what you mean, where the token suddenly becomes a bless and now a bless goes in the bag, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think the physical token that you have in your hand is what goes back in the bag, and even though that was treated as a bless, it still has the curse icon on it.
Oh,
That would be. I would think that yes, the Guardian Covenant can return it, but no, it has not transmuted into a bless. Because that.
Okay.
Because then what would happen if there are already 10 blesses in the bag? It doesn't get returned?
Yeah. It's complicated.
It is complicated. It's a wonky card. I think that my favorite idea, quasi-seriously, is with Trish to take the Seeker Covenant that treats curses as +1, and this that means if blesses become curses, you draw a card, and all of a sudden blesses can be +1 draw a card. Like that seems great.
Yeah,
that's a lot of hoops to jump through, but it seems fun. I don't know. Rogues have more new toys. What else we got?
All right. Eye of the Djinn is next. Wait, is that? Yeah. 2 cost, 2 XP, Vessel of Good and Evil. Item, Relic, Blessed and Cursed. And exceptional. Yeah. And as a reaction, when you initiate a skill test during your turn, exhaust Eye of the Djinn, set your base skill value to 5 for this test. If a Blessed token is revealed, ready Eye of the Djinn. If a Cursed token is revealed, you may take an additional action this turn. And that's a hand slot.
Whoa!
Pretty crazy.
I actually, with there being 2 exceptional level 2 assets here, I was waiting for this to synergize in some way. So that's like, oh, you take them both, and now they make more sense. That didn't happen, but
no, I think they do synergize. Like,
no,
because this one you want to have both blessings and cursing, so like it helps if you're randomizing them. It increases your chance of getting both.
I actually don't think you want both blesses and. Oh, I see. Because if you draw both, you get both.
Yeah,
both effects. I see what you're saying. I was thinking you would actually put this most into a deck, and you would want just curses so that you're just more likely to always get the extra action. But I see what you're saying is if there's both, you could ready this and get the extra action.
You could have infinite actions. You always ready it. You always get an extra action.
This does enable a lot of actions. Not really infinite because you are consuming those tokens and you'd eventually run out of them in the bag, right? But you know, 8, 9, 10 action turn when you are looking at new cards and thinking of the best case scenario. Like, yeah, sign me up.
And so it sets your skills to 5. So like Preston especially likes it.
I mean, I think this card is very strong. For the most part, this ability is quite good unless you're using a skill that's already at 5. This is great. To set your base value to 5 is +1, 2, 3, 4 to your skill, even if you're not someone like Preston. And then
I mean, like Trish is like she's generally 4 at whatever she cares about, so like it's maybe a little less impactful for her. Same with Finn, but I feel like Jenny is another strong one. Besides Preston, because she gets +2.
Yeah, that's true. The upside of all these extra actions, though, even though you're maybe just getting +1 or +2, to like I don't know, it's like a weak. If well prepared, because if you play well prepared, you usually set yourself up to get +2 from it once per turn, and that's considered a great card. If this is giving you +1, but maybe multiple times per turn, and maybe extra actions, that also sounds very good to me.
It is also a hand slot, which is a very valuable slot.
True. Yeah, and it's exceptional, which means there's only 1 copy in your deck, which makes it harder to kind of rely on it, harder to build a deck around it, and then be like, this is kind of why I'm putting all these curses into the bag, is because I have Eye of the Djinn. It's going to be less, just less consistent. But I love it. I think it's a good card. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it in Preston. I do think there's probably some deck that runs Eye of the Djinn and Lucky Penny, and it's certainly a lot of fun. Maybe it's good. I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah, finally. Okay. I have been so annoyed at the Mystic, the curse, the trigger when you draw curse spells not having upgrades as I'm trying to play Arkham Horror the card game and enjoy those cards. It's very difficult. I'm fanning these out now to check. It looks like a full suite of upgraded versions. I'm stoked. They start with Armageddon. It is a 4 resource cost for level 4 asset. It's a spell and cursed. It uses 3 charges. It says spend 1 action, spend 1 charge to fight. This attack uses willpower instead of combat. You get +2 willpower and deal +1 damage for this attack. For each, I think this is different. For each curse token revealed during this attack, you may deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location or place 1 charge on Armageddon. Oh, okay. I was afraid when I was halfway through this card, I was afraid like, oh, is it just +2 willpower? Like that's good, but boring. This is pretty cool to be able to be like, all right, I drew 3 curses. I want 1 extra damage and 2 more charges on Armageddon.
Yeah, this is really cool. I think if you are not manipulating the bag at all, 4 XP for this effect is like not great because like without any manipulation, your chance of drawing multiple curses instead of 1 curse pretty low.
Yeah.
So I think this is really about combining with Olive, Grotesque Statue, and Jacqueline to like when you really need it, try to get that 2 or 3 curses.
Go ahead.
Like you can use the first 2 charges and maybe you just use them regularly. Mm-hmm. But with that 3rd charge, you really want to make sure that you then refill the bag.
Right.
So that you can keep using this forever.
Yeah, I really do think, though, that the +2 willpower is actually really clutch here, because kind of the issue with the level 0 versions is that you find that since the curse gave you -2 and another modifier to your test, a lot of the time, if you draw the curse, yeah, you get that curse benefit, but you did not pass the test to kind of get the core attack. I think you're more likely to get the curse, get the charge back, and land the attack here.
Yeah.
It feels like less of an either-or, and I think that's a pretty big deal.
There's like a standard like mystic tax of like 2 to 3 XP for +2 will. I think it's like 2 XP on Rite of Seeking and 3 XP on Shriveling.
So it's a little more than that.
So you're spending like 2.5 of this 4 XP for the will boost.
Yeah.
And then the other 1.5 is for each curse.
We're down to the half XP granularity. I like it. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's nothing. It's not some like plot twist. It's not something out of left field, right? It's kind of if you were to before the packing out.
The plot twist is that like theoretically, like a Jacqueline with Grotesque Statue could play 1 Armageddon and never have to play another fight spell.
Sure, yeah,
that's a very different card than the original Armageddon.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. In practice, it's pretty different. I just mean like if you were to sit down and try to predict what the leveled up version might be, like you'd have a pretty good chance of guessing this. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how the Mystic Core spell upgrades work, though. Is they're pretty linear, they're pretty predictable. I'm excited to try it. I'm very glad that I have a Mystic with Armageddon and these other ones in his deck, sitting on some XP right now, and I can buy these and try them out right away. There are 2 more though. What's next?
Next up is Eye of Chaos, 5 cost, 4 XP, uses 3 charges. You investigate, you get +2 will. If you succeed, discover an additional clue. For each curse token, you may discover 1 clue at a connecting location or place a charge on Eye of Chaos. So it's exactly the same as far as what it upgrades.
Yeah, I've tended to think that this is. I think Eye of Chaos is weaker than Armageddon in the level 0 form, and I think that's still true here. I think it's
the fact that it's you discover a clue at a connecting location, like it's sort of cool for picking up straggling clues.
Yeah,
but like mystics are already pretty good at that with Sixth Sense, so I don't think it's quite as good as having the option to deal an extra damage to an enemy.
Yeah, and I think that because of the prevalence of 3 or 5 XP or hit point enemies and stuff, I think that +1 damage can be like really clutch and really turn the tides back in your favor in a way that discovering 1 extra clue usually doesn't. There's exceptions, but it's less likely to be like. I think much more on Eye of Chaos, I am taking the extra charge just so that I can keep doing 2 clue investigates over and over, and it's strong. It can be strong for that reason if you're drawing the curses. Yeah, I think the discover a clue at the connecting location is pretty forgettable.
Yeah. That being said, if you're playing the curse suite, and especially if you're in a full like 8 scenario campaign with Arcane Research, you're certainly going to this at some point.
You're definitely going to level this up. Yeah, for sure. And then Shroud of Shadows. I don't think I ever played the level 0 version of this, but this is another level 4 Mystic asset. Uses 3 charges, and for a charge you can evade using willpower +2. If you succeed and the evaded enemy is non-elite, you can move that enemy to a connecting location. For each curse token that you draw, you may move to a connecting location or place 1 charge on Shroud of Shadows. So it follows the same pattern, I believe, although this is the one that was the level 0 version was the least kind of fresh in my mind. No, right? I don't think so.
I mean, theoretically, like, you could have some really powerful turn where you, like, move across the map or something. But
yeah, that's true. It is kind of funny that this can actually give you like a nimble kind of like, I evaded the enemy and moved kind of effect. But you don't usually, like, at least as a mystic, you don't usually like kind of count on that. And because of the unpredictability of the curses, you definitely can't count on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is the worst of the 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so, but I also haven't used it enough to like be 100% sure that no one's gonna like yell at us for, oh my god, you haven't realized how good Shroud of Shadows is.
Oh, someone's gonna yell at us. Someone's gonna yell at us because we didn't like Lucky Penny. That's gonna happen. But that's fine. All right, last pack, the Survivor, I thought stole the show. So what do we have this time?
Yeah, Spirit of Humanity is a 2-cost, 2 XP asset. Ritual, Blessed and Cursed. Kind of a Survivor theme there to be both.
Mm-hmm.
As a fast action, you can exhaust Spirit of Humanity and take a damage in a horror. Ooh, that sounds like Calvin to me. To add 2 Blessed tokens to the Chaos bag. And you can exhaust Spirit of Humanity and add 2 Curse tokens to the bag to heal damage in a horror. That also sounds like Calvin to me. And it's an Arcane slot.
This does sound like Calvin, and also it sounds like unlimited free tempt fates, which I love. You just alternate between the 2 modes of this, and you're blessing and cursing the Chaos bag in equal measure. Who doesn't love that?
That's true. Yeah, if you're playing something like the Trist Botley or Paradoxical Covenant, and you just want all of the things, it does help you get there.
Eye of the Djinn, right? We just covered the rogue card that rewards you for having lots of blesses and lots of curses. I don't know how many. I guess maybe Preston is about the only one who can run Eye of the Djinn and Spirit of Humanity, but have both on your team somewhere. And Eye of the Djinn's got a lot of fuel, potentially.
Yep. And I don't know if I mentioned it's an Arcane slot, so like not really relevant to Calvin or Preston or probably most of the people that would take
survivors. Like Patrice is the only survivor I can think of who really cares about her Arcane slots. So
the only thing about it is Agnes cannot use this to heal her horror with like no cost, I guess.
Yeah, true, because Agnes can run this, but would she? Probably not.
I mean, fast horror healing, if it didn't take an Arcane slot, you'd have to consider it.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I think your gut reaction was right, that this is bread and butter for Calvin. I think this sounds incredibly fun for Calvin, having this ability to adjust his stats at will with that fallout of the blessings and chaos. Like, yeah, these new cards, I really need to get back to Calvin. I talked last video about how and why it's been a while since I played him, but this is really making me want to. This is super cool.
Yep.
And then we have Harmony Restored, a 3-cost level 2 Survivor event. It is a Fortune and Blessed, and says, search the Chaos bag for X curse tokens and return them to the token pool. X is the number of Blessed tokens in the Chaos bag. Gain 1 resource for each curse token removed in this way. Even the skeins of fate can be untangled for a time. Interesting. So this isn't really a resource generating card per se because it does cost 3. But the ability to be like
theoretically make $7 off it.
Sure, yeah. If you've got a bag full of blesses and curses, this takes out just the curses and gives you a bunch of resources. Goes great with that Spirit of Humanity that was putting some of both in the bag, right? Cool. Man, these last 2 packs have really made me excited to play more Survivor, playing with the curses and blesses.
Yeah. They also have, one of the best covenants in the Ancient Covenant.
Yes. Yeah, the Ancient Covenant. That's the one that when you draw a Bless, you can just stop drawing, right?
Exactly.
And so you generally pass that test. Very, very strong card. Yeah, man. Survivors, again, like this pack I think was full of great cards. Maybe not for Seeker, as long as Guided by the Unseen isn't really infinite. But everyone else got great cards. I still think I'm most excited about the Survivor ones. That I didn't see that coming. Twice in a row.
Yeah, like the Mystic ones are maybe the most important, but we all knew that at some point they were going to get upgrades.
Yeah, like I said, they just weren't. They didn't like surprise and delight me. They were just like, okay, phew, finally I can keep playing my Mystics.
Yeah. Totally. But yeah, the Survivor ones were like totally out of left field. They seem really strong in certain decks, and they may even like create new deck styles. So
yeah, I think that I think they have. Right, I think these cards from last pack and this pack have given survivors very powerful things to do with curses and blesses, and I'm glad. I think it should. Survivors have always kind of made the best of like weird niche situations, and so I think that it makes perfect sense that they're a class that really leans into that, and really has a lot of cards that capture kind of moments where like, oh great, now's the time. Now's when there's all these curses in the bag, and I can really turn the tides. Even though that's a Mystic card. Well, Tides of Fate. Anyway. That's everything, right?
Yeah.
No neutral cards lately. Either of the packs that we just sat down to review.
Yeah, good point. I guess, you're either with us or against us.
Right.
Being on the sides.
What did you think?
Pretty cool. Oh, one other thing. The rogue cards, they only gave one copy of. Have they always done that with Exceptional?
I think with Exceptional, that's typical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I didn't say it, but when we saw the second Exceptional card, we were wondering especially why Lucky Penny was Exceptional, and I was like, oh, well, if they make them both Exceptional, they can put two of them in a Mythos pack with less real estate taken up. Maybe part of the reasoning.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do that, then like at least Lucky Penny, you could have made it 1 XP.
Yeah.
So.
But I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that there was exactly one card that did the like switching class thing that Holy Rosary does. I kind of thought that maybe there would be one in every class or something. So I'm very curious whether this is the start of a new trend or just a random one-off design. I hope it's the start of a new trend because I think it's super cool, even though I'm not head over heels for that card specifically. Yeah, I don't know. I continue to love this cycle. I think both Dream Eaters and Innsmouth, from a player card design perspective and Encounter, but we're mostly talking about player cards on here, I think have been fantastic. I've really loved it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new deck styles. I like that there's a balance of, there's some of these cards we'll mention, like a new or one of the Innsmouth investigators, like we mentioned Faye and Amanda. But there's an awful lot that are breathing new life into old investigators.
Yes.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. If you're just joining us, if you're not familiar with Optimal Play, we'd love if you'd subscribe. Lately during COVID times, these types of card reviews are a lot of what we're doing, but we do get some playthroughs of Arkham and other board games live at our table on the channel too, and hopefully when more of my friends have vaccines stuck in their arms and can come over and play board games, we'll have more of that too. So we'd love if you'd subscribe and join us for a lot of those. Steven, as always, any final thoughts?
You just mentioned vaccines in arms. I know our friend Blue HD down in San Diego just got vaccinated.
Really?
Maybe I have to get him up here.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. Some new faces. Some new faces on here.
He could show off some of his great alt arts on camera.
That's true. Yeah. I'd be down. I'll have to slide into his DMs. All right. Well, yeah. Hopefully 2021 will bring some more fun and some more new faces than 2020 did. But either way, we'll be back soon. And until then, be optimal.